Hello, welcome to Living Arts. I'm your host, Jackie Suarez. Thank you for tuning in. Tonight's going to be a terrific show. We are going to be talking about Open Studios 2014 right here in Peekskill. And to talk about that, we have the, what should I call you, the chairman? The president of the Peekskill Arts Alliance, Maureen Winzig. We have local restaurateur Jeannie Credidio from 12 Grapes, and the lovely Nadine Taylor from the Institute for,
the School of Intuitive Art and
School
the
of
Third Eye
Intuitive
Studio.
Art. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank
Great
you.
to have you here, and we have a lot to talk about, so we're going to start with Maureen. Maureen, so tell us all the fabulous things that are going to be happening for Open Studios this year.
Well, it is going to be fabulous. If you like art, then you're going to love Open Studios because all the artists, again, are upping their game and getting all involved. The city institutions and organizations are opening their doors to have art hung there. Businesses are having exhibits. The museum, the waterfront, all kinds of places all throughout the city. And one exciting new thing this year is we're having a kickoff party at the Paramount the night before.
Okay.
So June 6th from 6 to 9, got to be there. It's going to be fabulous because we have a sneak peek exhibit of each artist who's actually opening their studio doors that weekend. They're going to have an example of their work, so it's a collection of everyone who's opening their studios. Upstairs in the gallery, on stage will be Antonia Arts with all her whiz kids doing some rehearsing, and then they'll do a 10-minute spot and rehearsing, and 3 poets will be reading for like 10 minutes at a time, 3 or 4 times upstairs. So, you know, we're inviting everyone.
So you're going to be occupying the whole space. I thought it would just be the upstairs gallery.
No. The whole lobby, if we spill out, if it's a nice day outside, they promise to put chairs out.
Oh, nice.
You know, and the Paramount, you know, is really supporting this event, yeah.
For people that have not come to Open Studios or may not be familiar with the whole concept or, you know, what it all entails, why don't you break that down for them?
I'm going to break it down. You know, it's a fun thing. The basic part of it is you get to see an artist in their studio painting, sculpting, or whatever they do. Some music and dance around here as well. You get to actually go to their studio and watch them in process, ask them questions, and you know, negotiate a little with prices sometimes, which is great. Can't do that in a gallery.
Of course.
And you know, and it's fun to see how an artist lives, even though we do tidy up. An artist myself.
Well, I can imagine.
Yeah,
because when you know, work's in progress and so forth, you know.
Right. So that's one part of it. The organization, the logistics of it are, you could come up on Metro North, get off at the train station. You could walk. It takes me 10 minutes.
Okay.
If you're in good health, don't smoke so much. And, you know, then you go to the gazebo. You got to go to the gazebo. It's on the corner of North Division and Central Avenue. And there we have a setup with tables, with all the information you want to know. There will be a brochure. So you take your brochure and you figure out on the map, which is clear on there, where you want to go. So one place you want to go is to the Paramount, because that'll be open. And you could say, oh, I like that kind of art. Who is that? Oh, and you can,
okay. So you can see kind of an example of their work and find their wherever their studio is. So this is actually encompassing a large area because it also has the Hat Factory. So tell us about the little satellite studios throughout.
Well, the satellite things, well, you have the Hudson Valley Center for Contemporary Art, which has a special event. They normally have a fee, but they're going to be free to the public, as they do every year just for Open Studios.
Oh, that's awesome.
Olivia Strauss is awesome. And there's going to be a great show there. I don't have all the names, but they have a fantastic website. In addition to...
So it's the Hudson Valley Contemporary Art Museum.
Hudson Valley Center for Contemporary Art.
Okay. So yes, you can go online and check out whatever they have as far as their performances for Open Studios.
Yeah, well, they have an exhibit. They have a big exhibit, free admission. They have, it's called Art at the Core, which is an intersection of visual art, performance, and technology. Plus, Joanne Brody is having a special sculpture exhibit there as well. Now, that's at their 1701 Main Street, you know, their main. But Satellite, they're having another thing down on Water Street, 100 through 150 Water Street. Those big old industrial buildings.
Oh, okay. Is that where Dane's Lumber is or something?
Coming around the Sunset House.
Okay, yeah.
You know, that away. So this is extremely exciting. There's an artist, Aaron Taylor Kuffner, who has this musical amazement. It's like I wrote it down on something, but you drop like a ball and it hits something and it makes music and it keeps going on its own and it creates all of this music.
Oh, wow, so it's kind of like I want to say it's a type of art. It's is it more of an art piece than a musical piece?
It's
or?
an art and music piece, yeah. And they're going to have a reception, you know, from 5 to 7. I believe that's on Sunday. Okay, so you have HVCCA over here going, you know, uptown, and then down by the river is another exhibit. Of course, the waterfront, you have to go to the waterfront to see all the sculpture. You know, that's just there all the time.
That's a given. Yeah, there's some really nice pieces down there. Who's responsible for some of that? Would that be Wolf?
HVCCA.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
They are.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought Wilfredo might have had a little something to do with that.
He tries to work with the process of getting things done. Yes.
Oh, is he going to be near the clinic
The
this year?
health center, the Hudson River Health Center.
Right.
You know, on the corner of what's that, Park and Main, is they have a sculpture garden, and pictures are coming. He's got a whole new group of artists, whole new bunch of sculptures. They do the landscape, they make it beautiful there. But inside the Hudson River Health Center is an exhibit by Rayford Dwyer. Now, Rayford is a fantastic photographer. He did all the photography for our brochure, by the way, as well. And he's been all around the world, all different cultures, and his exhibit is fabulous. Another photographer at the Gateway Chamber of Commerce opened their doors. Deb Malone is fantastic. And Ocean Morissette, new guy up from Brooklyn, who we love him in Peekskill. Peekskill Through My Eyes, a whole photo exhibit. His work is phenomenal.
So is that going to be at the Chamber?
Yes, at the Chamber. And then, of course, you know, Wendy Garber's Flatiron Gallery is going to have Lana Yu. And she has this light, dark, in-out exhibit. Totally new stuff.
Wow, that's terrific.
Yeah.
I know she just finished doing, or this weekend, she's going to be putting up her What Matters mural. So that should be really cool.
Yeah. And, you know, there's all kinds of, and the after party on Saturday at Alexis Cole is an international jazz singer. She's fabulous. And she's having other local musicians, I'm sure Brian Taylor and a bunch of other fabulous people are going to be there. And she's having a concert with cocktails, and the whole public is invited to come. They're going.
Are you kidding me? To her apartment?
Yeah. Her new duplex studio.
Oh, okay. Where's that located?
Fantastic. It's at, I think it's right next to WCC, over the tattoo, over the Speakeasy Tattoo.
Oh, okay.
I think it's 24 North Division Street.
Okay, so what are some of the other components that are going into Open Studios? Because I know that, and I know, Jeannie, you have some photography that's going to be shown in your restaurant, so why don't you tell us about that? Just for those of you that don't know, Jeannie and her husband own 12 Grapes over on North Division Street. Excellent place for music, and since they opened, they've been doing some wonderful stuff for the town. There's always something happening over there, and it's known as a pretty decent, or not decent, but an excellent music venue in Westchester.
And food.
And food.
I like to dance there.
Dance and eat and drink.
Thank you, Jackie. Yeah, well, we've actually got five Best of Westchesters, including Best Live Music Spot in Westchester County from Westchester Magazine. So thank you for that. Yeah, we do like our music. In fact, on May 18th, we're going to be celebrating our 1500th performance.
Wow,
So
that's a lot.
Yeah, 6 years. We celebrated 6 years in April, and May 18th will be our 1500th performance. About 60 musicians are coming to perform. We're going to have a buffet dinner, and it's going to be kind of a...
How do you fit that into an evening, or is it a whole day?
It's a whole day. It goes from 5 in the afternoon till 11 at night. Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about what what was your plan when you first opened the restaurant? Did you want it to be the kind of music place it turned into being, or?
Well, 12 Grapes, the name of it is 12 Grapes. It's a restaurant, music, and wine bar. So we married the three best things of life's pleasures, food, music, and wine. And we brought them all together, but it was intended originally as a music venue. We have a stage, rich does all the bookings for that. Stage, professional lighting. Musicians really do enjoy coming. And we do offer some of the best music, I think, in Westchester.
Absolutely.
A lot of local people, a lot of, we've had Grammy winners on our stage, Emmy winners, and some pretty famous people.
So what are you going to be having for the Open Studios?
So for Open Studios, because 12 Grapes is a live music venue, what we wanted to do was focus on the art of live music photography. And there are some local photographers, Kevin Michael Winterfield, Amy Kerwin, and Margaret Stahl are 3 photographers who we will be showcasing their work. Kevin and Amy were here last year. Last year was our first year exhibiting for Open Studios, and it was really fun. We had our doors open. We had the photographers' artwork in different displays around the room. We serve brunch during the Open Studios, which is 12 to 5. So brunch starts about 12, and even dinner. You can come for dinner once you're walking around town, and if you get hungry or thirsty, you can come in and have a little something. But the photography is really wonderful. Kevin has shot a lot of local people. One of his favorite bands is Higher Animals. They just did a CD release party recently, and they're wonderful. He's a big fan of theirs, and they perform in and around town. They've been to 12 Grapes a few times, the Coffee House. And he does other artists. He's done some artists with us at 12 Grapes, some of the singer-songwriters. This young girl, Jessie Mason, who is, we discovered her at one of our kids' open mic. We do a kids' open mic once a month on a Sunday, and which is really great. And we discovered some really wonderful artists. And Kevin came to see and support her and took some beautiful pictures. He's really got a nice eye. He really does.
Great eye.
And Amy Kerwin has been part of the music community in Westchester for quite a number of years, and she's done not only a lot of local musicians, but some famous people as well. Bernie Williams, B.B. King. She's really shot some wonderful photographs. And her display last year that we did, Maureen was there to see it. She had some really nice photographs to display and to sell. And this year we're also featuring Margaret Stahl, who she's married to a musician. And he's in the Chris O'Leary band. Chris O'Leary was just inducted into the New York Blues Hall of Fame last year. They're a BMA finalist, wonderful band. They play in and around the Hudson Valley and at 12 Grapes. They were here for New Year's Eve last year. But Margaret is just, they're all very different. They all have a different eye for things. So it's just an interesting take on what we do and reflected in what these artists do. And our exhibit is called Shots in the Dark, the art of live music photography.
Yeah.
That sounds so cool. So some of those pictures, I'm assuming, were taken at 12 Grapes as well.
Many of the pictures that are on display were taken at 12 Grapes, but not exclusively.
Not all of them, because that'll be, well, that sounds terrific. What made you want to, be a part of Open Studios in that way?
Being part of Peekskill, you can't help but being part of the art community, and as musicians certainly are artists, and we do support that immensely, and are very happy to be able to share in the excitement of opening our doors. We have French doors that get opened on the street. The street on North Division Street is filled with artists. We're right down the block from the Flatiron Gallery, so we're part of the community, and it just was very exciting for us last year to be part of it, and we enjoyed it a lot. It was fun.
Well, that's awesome that you're going to be, participating again. Will there be like a street vendors or the craft sales that went on, I think, last year, or a little bit?
There's a new thing called Truck Stop Gallery. This is new, brand new, up in Beacon and all around the country and the city.
So is it a way to show the art, or?
It's a truck. You rent a truck, right? And you set up inside like a traveling, because not everyone has, not every Peekskill artist has a studio right in Peekskill. So they're bringing their studio to Peekskill.
No Stella this year?
Stella's got a wedding, okay?
Oh.
Yeah.
Stella the Peekskill trolley, right? Is it called Stella? Okay.
Right. But, most of it's walkable, and to get here, a lot of times you take your car, you park your car, you walk around, and you drive out to the Hack Factory, drive up to the museum.
Right.
It's well worth your time.
And WCC will have something as well.
WCC, but the Truck Stop Gallery is going to have artists displaying their work in their trucks, some tents, some cool thing. It's going to be very cool. It's going to be directly across from the Bruised Apple Bookstore on
Oh,
Central
okay.
Avenue, in that parking lot right there.
Okay, so you can't park there.
Just 7 spaces we
Oh,
took
okay.
up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, so that's really, really awesome. And, you know, the artists are opening, but the crafts, we may have some crafts there at the truck stop gallery, because some trucks are stopping there. You know, but of course you're going to have the Peekskill Coffee House. Now listen to this, we have 3 exhibits throughout town that have to do with tattoo art.
Oh, wow, okay, because we've
Yeah.
got some really cool tattoo places here in town.
Absolutely, and it's so trendy and hip right now, you know. So we are most definitely a trendy, hip town, you know,
Aren't we?
funky and fun, and we don't care. So
That's true.
yeah, you know, just doing what we want to do. And the Speakeasy Tattoo Salon, which is so beautiful inside. It's just so beautifully decorated. They went crazy with that. They have their artists there are going to be displaying on the walls art that's in the same feel as tattoo.
Oh, wow, okay.
And Patrick, you know, of Speakeasy Tattoo, is going to be displaying at the Peekskill Coffee House.
Okay, doesn't he own the coffee house, he and his wife?
No, he has the tattoo place. She has the coffee
Oh,
house.
okay.
Right.
I hope things are okay.
Oh yeah, he used to be in the city, and they hardly saw each other. Now it's like wonderful.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So the coffee house will have another one, and the third one, the Beale Street Barber Shop. Okay.
Right.
He's only going to be open on Saturday, but there's 2 artists there that are going to have a tattoo-ish type of art. One fella, he cuts motorcycle helmets in half and wires them so they can hang on the wall, and then he has tattoo type art painted on them. Even I think a motorcycle gas tank, you know, with the rivets in it. Oh, so cool. And then another fella who does tattoo type images. They're really cool. I was there for the Beale Street Barbershop's 2nd year anniversary.
Right.
And they were both there. A fellow named Mike and another one, Chris. And I don't want to misspell, you know, mispronounce.
Well, on South Street is where the Beale Street Barbershop is.
Yeah.
And you know, something else that is happening in town, the school that you've just opened now, I know you from the Flatiron Gallery. Actually, my niece stopped by your studio and was totally blown away by your work, you know, as well as, you know, myself. So why don't you tell us a little bit, you know, about your school and what was your idea behind that?
Well, I'm an intuitive artist, and I have a studio called the Third Eye Studio, where I do works that have symbols in them, and they're narratives, and they share meaning and beauty with people. And I've been in the community for 14 years, and I've always felt I was going to open this school. Apparently 2 years ago I put it on my resume before I even had it. And then the next thing I know, I have this space, this gorgeous space kind of just came to me, and I had to make a decision. A 2-floor loft in Peekskill at 1 South Division Street. And I went, as soon as I heard it had 2 bathrooms, I said, my school. And it's such a gorgeous space. I actually made part of it into a gallery. Opening on Open Studios is John Baer show. He's a nature photographer called The Moment Revealed, Listening to Nature's Beauty. And I attempt to get local artists there. Every few months I change the show, and I like to support local people. So he'll be opening that day, and we'll be up for a couple months. And then I run courses that are more new agey type courses.
How so?
Well, my series before this current series was about the Shadow series, and I'm going to be offering a course called Integrating Your Shadow or Dark Side Through Art. I've had Doris Renza do dream bowls, beautiful mosaic bowls in the class. We have someone who's teaching a crystal workshop, and we do, even, believe it or not, movement in there. We do all kinds of things in there. We write, we do art, we move. And also, I actually do once a week a course called Getting to Know Your Spirit Guides on Wednesday nights.
So, so what? I mean, obviously, getting to know your spirit guides, but tell us what your average class is, you know, kind of looks like, or how do you go about doing that?
There's usually, depending on the course, let's say 6 to 10 people come up. We share information, or I or others, we share information on the topic. I always try to include something creative with it. And it's not always an art course per se, but you usually come out either with some insights or you've done something where hopefully you are different than when you came in.
That sounds terrific.
Thank you.
So now I thought somehow there was another aspect to it where you were maybe working with children that had autism or...
Well, where I teach, I'm an art teacher also, and I teach with autistic kids. I do use this space. I volunteer sometimes to work with people in the community. One of the things we did a few months ago was about finding their spirit guides. So we help them find their animal guides with an older, Leave the Light On. There was a group called Leave the Light On. I can't remember Carol, I'm forgetting her name, sorry. But I worked with some people and we helped them find their spirit guides to help them get through hard times.
That's awesome. So for Open Studios, you're going to be having the one artist, and you're going to leave that up, or you're going to have the opening reception during Open Studios.
And we will be having information about the school and the different courses that are being offered in general. And John will be there during, and people sitting to watch the gallery. I'm actually going to have to split myself between the Third Eye Studio and the School of Intuitive Art, which we call SIA. And so I'll be going back and forth between the two.
Okay, I mean, I don't know if you can give us a little brief something about what's going on at the Flatiron Gallery, but that's a real staple here in town, and they have some great artists there in the building.
Well, we have the Flatiron Gallery, right? That's a 2-floor gallery which has amazing jewelry and artwork in there. I'm not sure I'm going to get everyone's work. You know, we have paintings. We have Anne Johan, and we have Lavinia
Wiggins.
We have Bob and Berenice Pliskin. We have Wendy's the Flatiron, and then we have a stained glass artist who not been there that long. It's upstairs. And I'm forgetting her name. I'm sorry.
Well, that's okay. I mean, if you've ever been to Peekskill, you know you must go to the Flatiron Gallery. It's a wonderful space.
Allison.
Wendy Garber is a terrific curator there, or gallerist, and it's got several floors.
A lot
so
of
you
diversity.
kind of spend a couple of an hour or two there because there's a lot to see. She's got some awesome jewelry there too. But I wanted to get a little bit more into kind of on the back end or the administrative end of doing Open Studios, how you're kind of partnering with the town and the bid, and how all of that is coming together for you.
Well, it's really coming together wonderfully. Last year...
I don't think a lot of people realize how much work goes into this.
It's an awful lot of work. But you know, it's a labor of love because when it comes together and everyone comes into town, you know, and the word gets around, it's just fantastic. It brings us all together. And the Business Improvement District folks, we started with them last year. Whenever you try something new, you know, it's a little rocky, but you make it work. But this year already we had the banners were already made from last year. They're up already. They say Open Studios, and they're bright and wonderful. We've got the over the highway banners, and all the, you know, we have to sit down with maps and streets and figure out where each one goes.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and we have to order them and design them and have them shipped, and who's going to lug them around? And I mean, that's just one little tiny thing. The design of the brochure and the map it's going to fold out to be a poster that says, you know, PAA, a little verbiage about what's happening.
The Peekskill Arts Alliance.
The Peekskill Arts Alliance, who actually runs this event each year. And this is our 17th year. It was run by the Peekskill Arts Council for 15 or 14 of those years. Right. And we took over the Peekskill Arts Council. So the Alliance, you know, we've got a fantastic board. And we're taking in new memberships and put them on the website, and we have to make sure it all matches on the brochure. And you know, who's watching the money, who's setting up the exhibits. Like the exhibit at Westchester Community College is off the beaten track for artists who are Peekskill artists, but their studios are not on the beaten track. They're off the beaten track. So they come and show their work there. So who coordinates that? You know, all the artists have to have a contact person, a drop-off date, a pickup date. You know, the 12th is the reception for that show. And there's paperwork. It just goes on and on. I don't want to bore you, but it really goes.
I can imagine. You know, it was awesome that you actually stepped up when all of this was kind of happening as 3 years ago, because this is the third year that Maureen and I, you know, are sitting down and talking about open studios, and it's always an exciting time because it's kind of, for me, it kicks off the summer.
Yeah.
Because there's a ton of events that happen here in town.
Yeah.
And you know, Peekskill really shines right about now.
It does.
So, you know, definitely come out and see it. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what's different about just our little open studios? Maybe just it's the restaurants in town, or something about it is just, I mean, like, I know there's a couple of other open studios that happen in various towns, but the surrounding cities really need to come check this out.
They do, because, you know, it's silly. Sometimes artist communities like to compare each other.
Oh, no, yeah.
You know, well, Garrison has their art center, and Ossining has their own building where they meet over their firehouse there, and everybody. But we're all different, so we need to embrace the things that are cool and different about us.
Right.
And we're different because we're a true city and a true community. It's
brimming with artistic talent.
Yeah.
And of, you know, every
and
variety.
Cuisine and fun and stuff like that. And you can walk around the streets and it's different. It's not a long strip, you know, and it's really fun. And the idea that the community, like the city, is behind us all the way. The bid is helping us with marketing materials. The businesses that get involved, makes it so exciting, you know.
Right,
like
the whole town is really like opening their doors. So it's not just the studios.
Yeah, it's not just the studios. So, you know, we have a couple of galleries, not a lot. We're looking at getting more. But that's what makes it exciting. And the things that are happening at night after open studios is great. I mean, you can't shake a stick without hitting a place to go dancing, have a drink.
So where would you, is there a site just for open studios, or are they going to be getting the information from the Peekskill Arts Alliance?
The gazebo. You go to the gazebo.
Well, I mean, if there were anyone listening
yeah.
that wants to see it online.
PeekskillArtsAlliance.org
Okay.
has all the info. But if you want the hot off the press, all the cool stuff, you go right to our Facebook page.
Okay.
Peekskill Arts Alliance on Facebook has, you know, not just, it's mostly arts and about Peekskill, but we branch out a little bit more. It's not just about PAA, it's about the whole city.
But, you know, we've actually run out of time. I wanted to get into a little bit about what's happening with Winzig Art.
Winzig Art.
Because I know that you recently were at Gallery 66 in Cold Spring. So why don't you give our audience some information about how to reach your your information?
Well, I'm at, you know, maureenwinzig.webs.com. You type in Maureen Winzig, you find all kinds of interesting stuff. And it's Winzig Art is fabulous. I've been teaching adult painting. Oh man, they just love it. They just love it, and I can't wait to do it again. I'm showing in a gallery up in Cold Spring. You know, I show around here. I was in Chelsea over the winter with a couple of my pieces.
And they can find that all out by Googling Maureen Winzig. And to get information about 12 Grapes, where are we going to go?
12grapes.com, very easy. And we have our live music schedule on there. On June 7th, we have the Blues Buddha Band, which I know that you guys have all seen. And on June 8th, we're showing the Wiz is coming. Yes. The kids are going to do a little show on our stage. And then we have kids open mic that night. So 12grapes.com.
There you go. And Nadine, how can they get information about you?
They can go to thethirdEyestudio.com, and that will also have a link for the School of Intuitive Art.
Well, ladies, thank you very much for coming and giving us some information about open studios. Looks like, as usual, we have run out of time. But what I wanted to say was, definitely bring your family. It's a kids event. Make a day of it. Get here by the Metro North, what have you. It's going to be a great time. So thank you for tuning in. We'll see you soon. And as usual, take care.